everyone, and welcome to the Royals Rundown podcast presented by Royals Review. I am Jake Milham, joined by Honey Milham and the one and only Jeremy Greco. Jeremy, how are you feeling tonight, man?
Oh, yesterday was a pretty good day. I think I feel pretty good.
Pretty good day? Yeah,
pretty
the
good.
Royals won.
Pretty good.
Yeah, that was the only thing of note that happened in Kansas City, right?
Yeah. In a baseball game, and I looked so smart.
Yeah,
because I said, who did I say when we did our preview? Who did I highlight? Alec Marsh and Michael Garcia.
And lo and behold, what happened
last
night?
Behold, below me, behold me.
Yes, we are. So currently we are recording this at about 5:15 Eastern Standard Time. The tarp has just come off in Camden Yards. So we'll see if we have a ball game tonight. I feel really bad for those fans in Camden Yards. They've been just waiting on this game for like 4 hours now.
And just no updates on social media.
Nothing. Not a dang thing. And this isn't just the Royals social media isn't that great. Yeah, nothing from Baltimore, nothing from like anyone, just complete radio silence.
The least y'all could say is this game is delayed until at least blah blah blah, and then update as you go. Like, I get that weather is not entirely predictable and you don't know exactly when you're going to get to start this game, and I get that you want to play this game because the Royals don't come back to Baltimore and it's hard to make that happen, but give us whatever information you can give us. Come on.
Yeah, it's all about transparent communication, which is one thing that did not help the Royals and the Chiefs in the April 2nd vote. Am I right?
Yeah, that could have helped a little bit.
It really could have. So, hey, everyone out there listening, still, we're going to talk about the vote first. Hopefully, by the time we get to the end of this podcast, we'll see if we have action in Baltimore or not. But we will talk about the first two games, at least, in the Baltimore Orioles series. A lot of good, a little bad so far, but we will break all that down here in a little bit. But if you wanted all this information a while ago, and in a more, I'm blanking on the word, a more concise format.
Conciseness is not a property of this podcast.
It's really not. So
we
sorry,
have a lot
y'all.
of good things going for us. Conciseness is not one of them.
Nope.
It would be if you had a moderator.
Do you think so? Do you think a moderator could stop me, Katie? Honey? Whatever the heck your name is today?
Okay, she's over here talking about like, I could be the moderator. No, I'm the one who had to set rules before we started recording just for her. God.
Also, Jeremy, if you didn't know, we don't use my name on the internet for security.
I'm sorry.
You're good. It's not like I have split personality disorder. Like, legitimately don't use my name for security reasons.
I mean, that's totally fair.
I have a personality disorder, but that's neither here nor there.
Yes.
I screwed myself as far as internet anonymity when I was a kid. So I'm just kind of like, let's go.
I really want to know that story at another time.
I mean, we just didn't know. When I was a kid, back when the America Online was first being invented, it was just like, yeah, I'm Jeremy. What's up? How's it going? My name's Jeremy Greco. Here's my address. You want my phone number?
Oh my gosh.
I had what the pen pals. The AOL in the early days had this. You could make pen pals on the internet, and then I gave them my address, and we exchanged real letters too. And Jeremy, you can Google me and find out just about it. I mean, you don't even need to go to the dark web. You just find out everything you need to do to dox me just from Google, pretty much.
That's not great. You should probably hire someone to take care of that for you, Jeremy. Because
if somebody wants some of this, they want a piece of me, they can come get it.
Put them up. But no, Jeremy, because I was under the impression that like in your younger days, the internet would have been more akin to like what we saw in war games.
I mean,
Like,
that was when I was like a very small child. That's what the internet was like. But you know, however, not so long ago, all the teens were on Facebook. Now they're all on TikTok sharing all their personal information. I just
yes.
I just was using the internet as a whole to share my personal information.
The internet was just like this vast expanse, is what it
Nobody knew
seemed
what it
like.
was. A series of tubes, they called it.
I just don't have people I like don't want to find me. So
I mean, that's fair.
That is absolutely fair. But I do want folks to find us on social media.
Yeah.
Go down that Twitter and X and TikTok tube. Follow us on those platforms at Royal Rundown Pod. Also, if you want our personal social media links, those are down in the podcast description below as well.
Speaking of
Jeremy,
conciseness,
what'd you say?
that whole thing, speaking of conciseness,
Yeesh.
speaking of staying on topic,
Not happening. Yeah, yeah. She thinks she can be the moderator. I think that was Exhibit A in the vote. No. Speaking of voting, let's go ahead and get to the big news that has been all over not just the Royals fan base, Chiefs fan base, but it's a big thing in the business of professional sports nowadays. So Jeremy, I think both of us can agree that we saw this vote going either way
yeah,
heading into Tuesday, but I don't think we really foresaw it being a 16-point difference
no, I
between the
thought it
two
was going to be
sides.
close for
Yeah,
sure.
I thought maybe like 4 or 5 points total between them.
Yeah,
No,
maybe.
yeah, this was a lot. So if you've been living underneath a rock, voters turned down the new 3/8 cent sales tax mechanism that would have extended over the next 40 years, amounting to about $2 billion. Voters turned that down, and that has really thrown just chaos into what are the Royals doing? What are the Chiefs doing? What is the next step from here?
I
Because go ahead.
I would argue that the Royals and Chiefs already kind of threw it into chaos by not having a plan.
Yeah.
speaking of the Chiefs and the billions, just so you know, here's your tidbit for the day. Forbes declared Taylor Swift a billionaire.
Yep, good for her.
There you go.
Thank you. Thank you. So
Definitely staying on topic.
no, I know, right?
I mean, I'm. This is what if I was a listener of this podcast, and I don't because I'm already a speaker on the podcast. I guess I am a listener because I'm listening to what I say and to what you say. This is what I'm here for: is the nonsense. If you just want some like stats, there's probably lots of other podcasts you could go to.
Yeah, yeah. You could listen if you just want all the stats after each game. Fine, go check out Royals recap. That's going to be on after every single game, so that'll be fine. But this is our chance every or a couple times every week to sit down and just chat about things Royals related and not related. Obviously, as we've spent about half of the podcast so far talking about war games and a series of tubes connecting us all.
This is how I get my
Right.
husband.
So
Yeah, the vote.
the
The
vote, it
vote thing.
happened. The Royals
It
got
did.
spanked.
I I'm just not I'm not surprised. I
I
am
am. But
I
tell me
am
more.
I'm surprised at the how far apart
Yeah.
the results were. I'm not surprised at the result though,
No.
because there were so many holes that could be poked in this that it seems like all parties involved with the yes vote were ignoring some of them. And I get it. There were some folks on both sides of the argument just making stuff up. There were bad faith members of both sides of this vote. I do want to make that crystal clear. But I think that the just from an official standpoint, like we knew the Chiefs and Royals, they just weren't telling us everything. They didn't have set plans. They didn't really come prepared to the table. And I think county voters showed them that. Jeremy, what do you think, man?
Yeah, absolutely. The Royals wanted this done. They wanted it done now. They wanted to be able to move into their new stadium in 2028. And they I don't know if it was incompetence, if it was arrogance, if it was ignorance, but they walked out and said, "We want a new stadium. Give us the money. We want to have it in 2028, and we're not willing to sit down and figure everything out that should be figured out ahead of time. So just go ahead and give us the money." I made the argument in the article, and I think on the podcast, that if your buddy came and asked you for $500, you'd ask him what it was for, and if his plan was as bad as the Royals' plan, do you give it to him? I don't know. And I was talking to my dad, and he gave me an even better version. He said, if someone came to John Sherman with this amount of information, do you think he'd sign off on giving that person a whole bunch of money? Nope, he would not. He's a businessman who's
Yep.
made his money by making good business deals, which means not giving money to people without knowing how it's going to be used and what it's likely to result in. There's no way he would have agreed to that if he was not the one in control.
Yeah.
So I think this is a reaction to that. I know the internet is full of doomsayers who are saying, "Oh, now it's the." I saw so many comments last night. Well, congratulations to the Nashville Royals and Chiefs. The Chiefs are
Ridiculous.
first of all, the Chiefs are never going to Nashville. They
No.
already have the Titans. They do
Yeah.
not have space to also have the Chiefs. The Chiefs are also not leaving this metro area. This is the best deal they can get. They control this whole region. They have no competition,
Yeah.
and there is no reason for them to leave. And the Royals aren't leaving either. John Sherman, when he gave his concession speech last night, said, he pointed out his deep ties to Kansas City, and he said that the next step is to figure out what there is, to go back and listen and figure out, take these results into account and figure out what's going to work best for the Royals and for their fans. Their fans, obviously, what works best for them is somewhere in the Kansas City metro. They're not going anywhere. The team wants to go fast. I've said this before. Then they're going to have to stay in Jackson County. But also, the other reason they're not going to Nashville, Jacob, is that one of the templates that the community organizers brought to the Royals and said, "Hey, let's do a CBA like this one," was from Nashville when they built their Major League Soccer stadium. The Royals aren't going to
Oh.
get a better deal in Nashville, no matter what, than they're going to get in Kansas City, because Nashville's already said, "Yeah, this is how we do things now." So the Royals need to probably go, "Hey, what was that you guys were saying about Milwaukee, Nashville? That's what you want? Okay, let's do that." And you know
Yeah.
what? I think if the Royals do that, and then they, iron out some of the stuff like, are you closing Oak Street or not? Do you really need to build in Crossroads, or would East Village work? And what all needs to happen if you do go ahead and change those sites to something that's maybe a little bit more preferable for a lot of people? And then I think if they do those things, I think the vote will pass.
Yeah, and I'm hopeful that we will hear some ways forward. I think it would be very arrogant of both organizations if they did not have a plan B at least like 80% ready to go in case this was a no vote,
Well,
because
I
no
got news
no
for you about the perceived arrogance of the organizations right now, Jacob.
true. All right, you got me there. You got me there, Jeremy.
Though I did, when I was logging in here, didn't see some rumors that the Chiefs are already talking to Johnson County about moving to the Kansas side. I don't
Yeah,
know how real that is. I don't know if the rumor is real. I don't know how much the Chiefs want to make that move. I don't feel like they really want to. Uh, but again, worst case scenario is they move to Johnson County instead of Jackson County. They're still in the Kansas City metro, and you can let those wealthy bastards over there pay for it.
yeah. And I think that's what so many folks are missing the point on. People are acting like for both franchises it's Jackson County or bust. Like no, there were several other players that were vocal. I don't want to say involved because I don't know the behind the scenes stuff,
I mean, they
but
had
they were at least
renderings for Clay County.
yeah, exactly. I I think Clay County and Johnson County at least were legitimate players in okay, how is this going to go from here? I truly believe in my heart of hearts that both teams are going to remain in the KC metro area. It just might not be Truman Sports Complex.
Yeah, I truly believe that the Chiefs are staying in the Truman Sports Complex, and I truly believe the Royals are going to be downtown by 2030. I just think they're going to have to come back to the table and take this whole thing a little bit more seriously than they did the first time around. Whatever the reason was that they didn't, I think that's what's going to have to happen. And it kind of cracks me up. We've got Mayor Quentin Lucas going around saying, well, this wasn't exactly a great process, and the people spoke about it. Well, Mayor Quentin Lucas, you were part of that process, and you were
Yeah,
endorsing this, weren't you? So
yeah.
why the change of heart, my friend?
Huh. Interesting. Quite interesting. I think. Oh, here's my question, Jeremy. I'll ask it to you after I pitch it because I think that the both of these teams being on the ballot together
Mm-hmm.
was the Royals' chance to kind of ramrod this through the voting process to
Mm-hmm.
ramrod what they needed and the Chiefs needed at the same time, and they were hoping that the Chiefs' success could carry that vote even further.
Yeah.
I'm kind of hoping that at this point the teams split up and we have two separate processes throughout all this because also the Royals were the more vocal one ahead of
Mm-hmm.
this yes vote. And the Chiefs, they were, I wouldn't say they were backseat, but like they were definitely a quiet passenger.
I Somebody on Twitter, I think our own Sean Newkirk, from
Ooh,
former Royals Review contributor at this point, I guess,
yeah.
pointed out that he didn't think the Chiefs did anything to really sink this, and I said, well, okay, they didn't try to sink it, but they were just kind of hanging out on the deck, not doing anything, letting the Royals run around and fix the rigging and bail out the hull, and it went down around them while they kind of watched it happen. So yeah. Anyway, go on.
It's well, so I just I want to ask you that question. Do you think that we're going to see these two teams kind of break apart and we'll weigh the merits of each process accordingly?
It wouldn't surprise me either way. As I said, I kind of got the feeling that the Royals probably went to the Chiefs and said, "Hey, we want to do this. It would really help our cause if we had your name on it too." And the Chiefs were like, "Sure, fine, whatever. We'll get money and we won't have to do any work. You guys do all the work." And the Royals, didn't succeed. So I think the Chiefs weren't necessarily ready to really kind of ram things through at the speed that the Royals were. So they were just kind of letting it happen. Hey, if it works, it works. If it doesn't, well, we'll keep working on our own stuff that we've kind of been working on. So I would not be surprised if the Royals kind of had to go it on their own, and the Chiefs said, "Yeah, you guys had your shot. You really blew it, and we're gonna do our own thing now. And maybe we'll wait to see what you do because I do think that the Chiefs want to stay in Truman, and I think that they want to bulldoze Kaufman and use it for other things. But I
Yeah.
also think that the Chiefs are not entirely blameless in this. I know I said that they were kind of sitting on the deck, not helping, but also their proposals were not for things that benefit everyday fans for the most part, right? They said, hey,
Mhm.
everyday fans give us money and everything is going to get more expensive and you're not going to be able to access any of it. So hopefully the Chiefs also come back with a little bit of humility and say, here's some benefits for some of our regular fans too that aren't going to sit in these VIP end zone suites that we want to build.
Yeah. Oh, are we Jeremy, when do you think we could start let's get a professional let's get one of the major two professional sports teams actually in the Kansas side of Kansas or
I
the Kansas
I
side of
mean, we've
Kansas
already
City,
kind of
excuse me.
started it, right? As I pointed out, people are saying that the Chiefs are well on their way to like a potential deal in Kansas. I but I don't know how much. Again, I don't know how much of that is real. As far as like, is that even? Are they even actually talking to anyone in Kansas? And I don't know how much of it is real. As far as like, do they actually have any intention of doing that, or are they just trying to create a kind of bidding war situation? Um,
Yeah.
so there's still a lot of questions. There's not a lot of answers at this point. There's just a lot of questions about, okay, what are you guys going to do next? And whatever it is, I will just reiterate. It's not going to be outside the Kansas City metro area.
Yeah.
And it is going to require more details, and it's going to require more humility from both teams. Whether they do it together, whether they split up, they're going to have to actually, not just go out there and be like, well, we're your sports team. Give us your money. They're going to have to come out and be like, okay, here's what we're going to give you. And I still truly believe that both teams will be in Jackson County when this is all said and done.
I like it. I like it. What I'm most hopeful for with having this vote behind us is that okay, I feel comfortable finally just looking at the season.
Yeah,
This was I think we talked about it on the last podcast, like wondering if there was a big cloud hanging over opening day
yeah.
with this vote. And
And there
maybe
was. I mean, there was.
yeah,
The people had a banner that they unfurled on opening day about voting no. I don't know
yeah,
if you saw that.
I saw that, and then I saw and heard, excuse me, the ads that the Royals were playing on Crown Vision for Vote Yes.
Yeah. And I was
So
not enjoying the broadcasts where they're just having people just constantly shill for the tax. I'm just like, this isn't fun.
and they were even doing that a little bit in the Baltimore game last night when I was listening, not last night, excuse me, the Monday night game.
Okay, I
Um
must have missed it.
it
I only got
was
to watch like half of that game,
gotcha. It
and I
was
didn't get
it
to
was
watch any
early
of
on in
last
the game.
night's.
It was early on in the game where they were touching on the vote, and it was, I don't know, it was very unexpected to me because I get it. It's the last ditch effort. It's the night before the actual vote, but like, come on, just give me my baseball game. That's
It
all I
cracks me
want.
up because people are always, get your politics out of my sports. And I'm like, oh, I know what that feels like now.
Yeesh. Now, yeah, I'm with you there, Jeremy, on that. But before we actually like really put this behind us, you got to tell me, is your Saturday column going to be about this?
I think there's going to be just kind of a wrapping up kind of thing of like, okay, so the vote failed. What does this mean?
Okay.
I think that's probably what I'm going to write. I'm hoping, fingers crossed, to get an interview with one of the major players from the negotiations
Uh huh.
from this whole thing, but I don't want to say who yet. And
Okay.
I've got some positive movement on that front, but no confirmation.
I
So
like it.
hopefully I'll be able to include some information in that direction, but I don't know for sure yet.
Okay. I look forward to it. And listen, it is Jeremy caught a lot of negative flack for his very extensive, detailed, factual coverage of this whole process. Um, and truthfully, I do think that a lot of folks owe him an apology for that, especially some of the things that have been said behind the
Yeah,
scenes. Or go ahead.
there's been so many takes yesterday where yeah, the Royals just really kind of did this poorly. Like after the vote failed, I saw all over social media. I saw Sam McDowell. I saw Alec, what's his face that used to write it at the Athletic.
Oh,
I
Alec Lewis,
Alec Lewis. I saw the guy who wrote it, the Athletic, and wrote for the KC Star before him.
Rustin Dodd.
Rusted Dodd. I thank you. I am bad with names today. I saw all these people that were like, yeah, the Royals just really were not on top of this. They didn't have details. They weren't listening to people. And I'm like, boy, I wish someone had said that before. Did anybody write about how that was happening before?
That
You
is
know, Jacob.
that's so weird, Jeremy. That is just so
And
strange.
to be fair, Kansas City is not the beat of Rustin Dodd or Alec Lewis anymore. And
Yeah.
Sam McDowell did write some stuff criticizing the teams for how they were approaching all of this stuff. So this is not my attempt to call them out and be like, oh, now you guys are listening. It kind of feels like, man, I was far from the only person saying this. Maybe I was the one saying it the most explicitly, the person who was saying it the loudest. And I don't even think I was necessarily the person saying it the loudest. I was one of the loudest We'll go with that. But this should not have been news to anyone. This should I what I was writing should not have been other than which it still boggles my mind the conflict of interest that was ULKC leading the negotiations with the Royals and having the chief legal counsel of the Royals be one of their executive board members, which still no one else is talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't think I said anything that nobody else ever said,
I and
or that wasn't obvious to people looking at the situation.
yeah, and I just want to wrap up this whole situation, Jeremy. With I know that I'm not as outward as I can be with my opinions sometimes. Um,
It comes
as
from already being completely exposed.
would you say?
It comes from being already completely exposed. The internet already has me. It can't do anything else to me. You got to protect yourself, man. Don't be like
No,
me.
don't encourage it. He grew up in a household where he wasn't allowed to have opinions, so he needs to express them.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, you can do a little bit more.
All right. I like it. I like
Be
it.
louder.
But I think this isn't an opinion. This is a point of gratitude. I appreciate what you have done so far in your coverage. I'm looking forward to what else you have in store when it comes to the whatever the process holds next for the tax vote. And I am as silly as it sounds. I'm proud of you for going out and getting the story.
Well, and I'm gonna throw it right back at you because
Oh,
I didn't spend the time and effort to go out and look for these interviews and do this research until I started recording a podcast with you and had you encouraging me and having my back on this stuff. So we'll just make this a love fest here. You've been you may be inspired by what I've done, but I wouldn't have done it if you hadn't inspired me first. How about that?
He's always been one for investigative journalism.
well, thank you, Jeremy. I do appreciate it, but I think we can end the love fest there and both agree though.
Boom.
There's
You
plenty
don't
of
you
there's
don't think
plenty of
people want to
baseball.
listen to us love each other for
No,
another
no,
hour?
no, I don't think so. We
That's
listen
bullshit.
listen, folks. I know we're an audio only right now, but I record this podcast the entire time with a smile on my face because I love spending this time with Jeremy and I love talking baseball. And like Jeremy said earlier on, we're not everyone's cup of tea, but there ain't a whole lot I'm going to change because I enjoy doing this with Jeremy. But how about we get to some baseball, Jeremy? How's that
Yes.
sound?
That was when before you started going on about how much you liked me. I was gonna reply like you were saying you were looking forward to whatever I wrote next. I'm like I'm looking forward to being able to just focus on the baseball stuff at least for a little while. And again, Alec Marsh last night
Woo,
and
man, tell
Michael
me about it.
Garcia all week.
Yeah.
I'm ready, buddy. I'm here.
Yeah.
I'm here for this.
Well, hey, I'm gonna toss the ball right back to you. Alec Marsh is your guy, and he was an absolute workhorse on Tuesday night. Go ahead and tell me about his first career victory as a starter.
Man, Alec Marsh, 7 innings. And I think I saw he had fewer than 80 pitches in those 7 innings. Are you
Extremely
kidding
efficient.
me? 2 innings.
Efficient.
What's that?
Efficient.
Yes. Two innings shy of a Maddox. Okay. 2 innings and 1 run shy of a Maddox, which for those of you who are not as old as me, is a complete game shutout with fewer than 100 pitches. That's a Maddox, a Greg Maddox, one of the greatest pitchers of my lifetime.
Uh huh.
Maybe not your lifetime. I'm not sure if he pitched while you were paying attention, Jacob.
I
But
don't think so. I don't think
yeah,
so.
one of the greatest pitchers of my lifetime, Greg Maddox. He Alec Marsh looked a lot like him last night. He was not getting the strikeouts necessarily. I think he only had 5 in 7 innings, but 1 walk, 2 hits. That's it. You
That's it.
cannot complain about a 7 inning, 1 run performance that saw 3 base runners. No complaining. And I want everyone who said, I can't believe Alec Marsh is in this rotation. This is the end of the world. Blah. I want all of you. You are not allowed to say anything negative about Alec Marsh. He can give up 30 runs next start. You're not allowed to say anything negative about Alec Marsh until 2 weeks from now. Okay? That's it. It's the limit.
There's a
You
time
have to
limit.
be nice no matter what happens.
And going back to what you're talking about, this rotation, I am just very excited because Tuesday marks the point where we have seen the first season start for each one of these
Yep,
rotational pieces. And you just look at the numbers, and this is I'm not kidding you, I'm not exaggerating. This is performed at an elite level. This is an
absolutely.
elite level performing rotation. Only 6 earned runs in 31 innings pitched, going for a 1.74 ERA. Absolutely amazing. That ranks second in the MLB. Second.
The Major League Baseball.
Not the American League, not the American League Central, the Major League Baseball. Your Kansas City Royals. I get it. It's only 5 games, but come on, let's be excited about it.
Hey, who's number one? Houston.
Houston.
Do you think would we like to be compared favorably with the Houston Astros,
Well,
Jacob? Would we feel
I
good
think
about that?
so.
Yeah, yeah, we would.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I'll have to go get the trash can, I guess, and just bring it on the podcast. If we really wanted to emulate them, that's the only thing I don't want. You know?
Yeah, yeah. There's no getting around it. The bullpen's been a mess.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
offense was very slow. The offense kind of crapped the bed, as they say, on Monday night with the runners at second and third and nobody out, no runs scored. Bases loaded, 1 out, no runs scored. Can't do
yeah.
that. But bad nights will happen. And again, we're still in the small sample size era. So, this rotation looks good. Michael Garcia looks
Woo.
fantastic. Bobby Witt Jr. seems like, if anything, he's taken a step forward. Although we do need to talk about Bobby Witt's failures at stealing bases so far this year. He's 1 for
Yeah,
3 so far this year, and he was not stealing them at the same pace at the end of last year too. And I thought last year he was just forcing it a little bit, but now it's continued into this year. And again, still small sample size. But somebody, I wish, I'm sorry, I wish I had your name off of Twitter. Asked me, do you think he has a tell? And I'm like, I don't know if he has a tell. Although now that you mention it, that would actually make a lot of sense because he's still very fast.
yep,
And he's been a good base stealer in the past. So this is not an issue of necessarily technique, you wouldn't think. So a tell would maybe make a lot of sense. But they do need to figure out whatever's going on there and fix that because we cannot have Bobby Witt getting caught stealing all the time. And he's too fast to keep him from running.
yep. You
But
can't. Go
sorry, go
ahead.
ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna continue on from there and say, MJ Melendez has looked pretty good. The rotation, as we mentioned, Michael Waka had the worst start. I don't think it was a bad start. I think he was a little unlucky. The bullpen is shaky, but again, the great thing about the bullpen this year is first of all, bullpens are naturally volatile. So things could be going poorly now and end up going great later, small sample sizes. But if guys continue to fail, they're going to get demoted in the bullpen. Guys who succeed are going to move up. And we've got so many guys in AAA that if these guys just really cannot get it together, that you can give them a shot and feel like, okay, well, at least, that guy makes sense. You know who we haven't even talked about?
Who?
Jacob, as a guy like Steven Cruz. No one's even talking about Steven Cruz.
Oh
And
yeah,
he did not have a good debut, but he had a good finish last year. So
yeah,
that's even another guy. We got like 5 or 6 guys that you're like, well, they could, if they put them in the bullpen, I wouldn't be like, well, that's stupid. This is obviously a situation where we just don't have enough bodies. It's like, well, there's some upside to those guys.
yeah,
So there's a lot of to look for, and they're 2-3 against division winners last year. Last year's division winners 2-3. That's okay. I mean, if they're 2-4, that's not what you really want, but it's also not the end of the world. I think things are looking bright right now to me.
yeah. I couldn't agree with you. I couldn't agree with you more, Jeremy. It's amazing how much my outlook has changed since opening day. Man, that was such a
Those small
bummer.
sample sizes will get you every time.
Oh, they really will. They really will. And I'm just glad as we're recording this, they finally updated with the first pitch time. First pitch is going to be here in about 20 minutes, so we'll get
All
off in a
right.
little bit and go watch that. Cole Reagans versus Corbin Burns. I'm so excited for that. It's going to be a great matchup. At least I'm expecting it to be.
Yes.
So I do want to put on some other bows for the Monday and Tuesday performances, so we can go ahead and move on. Will Smith, congratulations, got his first save as a Royal in the
Really,
114th
he didn't have a
of his
single
career.
save with Kansas City the first time around.
Nope, sure didn't.
Shocker.
I know, right? According to Elias, Sports Bureau, that is, he is one of 5 active pitchers to record at least one save with 5 different teams, which just amazes me. He has 48 with the Giants, 42 with the Braves, 22 with the Rangers, and 1 with the Brewers. And now
Love
that
to
lit.
see.
And now that list includes the Kansas City Royals. See, everyone out there listening, yeah, in case you forgot, Honey is still here. And I said we had to keep it PG-13 rated, so you get one F-bomb in the show, and that is what she chose to use it on as a devoted Phillies fan. So,
I didn't even catch that one. What was that?
oh no, she used it. It's gone. It's
Oh
gone, Jeremy.
well,
Yep, it
Leave
happened.
the
my
brain.
loss.
Yes. Um, Jeremy, is there really anyone else that's been standing out to you in this in the Baltimore series so
It's
far?
not enough. It's not enough, Jacob. How about this? Kyle Isbell. Kyle
Okay,
Isbell hitting the ball hard. Not necessarily hitting it where we want it, but hitting the ball hard. And I'm
yeah,
just going to hammer Michael Garcia again because this guy, I saw, I thought I remembered this phrase that I saw on the internet last night, or maybe this morning. His own personal launch angle revolution. I love that turn. I love that what that evokes for
yes,
Michael Garcia and that's what's happening. He hit that double. I think it was the double last night. Was a home run in 29 out of 30 parks.
yeah,
The Orioles Stadium is the only one where that's not out of the stadium. So he almost had. It was probably Lesky this morning. I was reading that from. Somebody has. He almost had 3 home runs in 24 at bats after 4 home
woo,
runs all of last year.
damn,
Dude was hitting the ball hard. Now he's hitting it in the air. Michael Garcia season is coming.
I like it, I like it. I believe in it, and it's high time that Major League Baseball fans as a whole start recognizing Michael Garcia as one of the young third baseman to watch around the
we
league.
we as sports people we talk all the time about stock, right? Stock is
Yeah.
your stock up or down? Are you buying or are you selling? As a MLB the Show player, that's literal
Mhm.
for me because I will.
Okay.
One of the things that you do. This is a secret for those of you out there who are not aware of this in MLB the Show. So one of the things you do for Diamond Dynasty mode is if you see a guy who is, say he's a diamond, or excuse me, say he's a silver player, and you're like,
Uh huh.
man, he's better than silver. He's gonna they're gonna do roster updates throughout the season, and if he plays better than silver, he's gonna get promoted to gold, promoted to diamond. This is what happened to Bobby Witt Jr. last year. Uh, so what you do is you go, man, I'm gonna buy this card while this is cheap, and then I can resell it when it's high. So you're buying a stock, you're selling it high.
Hmm.
I am all in on Michael Garcia. I have 300 Michael Garcia cards right now.
Dang, dang. You
I
are.
am buying Michael Garcia like there is no tomorrow. I mean, actually, no, like there is definitely a tomorrow because otherwise there wouldn't be any point. But you get what I'm saying.
I'm sorry, isn't that called shorting the stock?
No, it's shorting the stock is if you buy it assuming you buy it at a discount in a weird loan kind of way, assuming that it's going to go down.
Oh.
It's more complicated than that. I'm not actually a stock market person. This is not investment advice, people. Okay, this is not. You can invest in Michael Garcia in MLB The Show. That's MLB The Show investment advice. Do not use anything else for investing like your real money, please. For the love of God, I do not want to be responsible for your destitution.
And coming up after the ad break, we're going to talk about GameStop going up 0.5% on the stock market today.
The- but
No.
shorting somehow involves the belief that you believe the stock is going to go down.
However, coming up after the ad break, legitimately, is my review of Big Dumb Money, which is phenomenal and does have to do with GameStop.
Yes, that was her long segue to talk about why we were talking about investments, Jeremy.
All
Sorry,
right.
you have to play the long game with this one
Yes.
Yeah,
over
so
here.
it's time for Royals review.
No, it is not. No, it is not. Don't
I'm
listen to
getting
her.
hungry.
Don't listen to her.
We've been here forever.
She knew what she was getting into. If she dies, she dies.
So much love here.
I know, right?
So
It's
much love.
amazing.
If she
Lit-
dies, she
Oh my
dies. My
generation.
goodness, man.
Listen, the last thing we need to talk about, Jeremy, is I know you don't care about two of these three minor league baseball rosters that were announced, but the Royals finally, announced their remaining minor league rosters. So that was kind of a cool development that I wasn't expecting on Wednesday after the vote. Kind of distracted me a little bit from the vote's outcome. So Jeremy, if you don't mind, give me 3 minutes. I'll run through these. Okay.
Yeah, do it.
All right, so down to the Columbia Fireflies, I'm just going to talk about players of note at each position. Blake Mitchell is going to start his affiliated career with the low A Columbia Fireflies, so congratulations to him. Interested to see what he
Hit
does.
600 home runs, please.
How many?
600 this season.
600. Yeah, I think that's fair. Blake Walters is also going to be on the pitching staff for the
Where's Hero
Fireflies.
Wyatt?
What'd you say?
Where's Hero Wyatt? He's my favorite.
You know what? I love Hero Wyatt. He seems like he's going to be in Instructs still.
No.
Yeah. So that's kind of surprising to me. Maybe they're tooling with his pitching arsenal a little bit, trying to actually make him a viable starter, not have flame out as a
I
reliever. You know what I mean?
Jacob, I need a hero.
I
Thank you.
need a
I knew I married the right person.
hero. So moving on to Quad Cities, a lot of prospects that we're keeping our eyes on. Carter Jensen is going to be there behind the dish catching. Brett Squires, Trevor Werner are going to be there. The outfield looks pretty dang good. It's Jared Dickey, Spencer Nivens, Gene Ramirez, and Carson Roccaforte. So
I'm gonna
very
ask
excited
where he
for that.
was. He's my other guy.
Yeah. I'm kind of surprised he's not starting off in Double A, but I'm sure he's gonna make it there before too
I mean,
long.
that would be very kind of fast. I mean, obviously not Paul
He is a
Skeens
collegiate guy.
fast, who started in Triple A this year. My
Yeah,
goodness, what the heck? What do they feed those kids in whatever city he was born in?
I don't know. We need to test it. We need some studies. Let's see who else is on the
Carson will get
pitching
promoted
staff.
quickly if he does what he was doing last year. He'll be at Double A before long.
Yeah, agreed. Let's see here. So rounding out the Quad Cities River Bandits, this pitching staff looks absolutely great. Ben Kudrna, Cooper McKeon, who's a guy that like is my underrated relief guy that I like.
He's your
Frank
hero.
Mazzucato. Frank Mazzucato is going to be there. Hunter Owen, Ryan Ramsey, Henry Williams, who the Royals got last year in the what was that? What was that cat's name that we wanted to
Scott
trade? Scott
Barlow.
Barlow. Scott
Is
Barlow.
is it just me, or does Henry Williams sound like he belongs in like the 1800s British monarchy?
I could see it. Yeah,
All right,
yeah.
just making
And
sure.
would he be? No, no, no. We're not going down this rabbit hole. You're not derailing me. I have
It's a
one more
different kind of
roster to go
royal.
through. And then going up to the Northwest Arkansas Naturals in Double A, Josh Lester, former Mizzou product, is going to be there. Dylan Shroom, Javier Vaz, who I'm a big fan of. Caden Wallace and Peyton Wilson are going to be there for the Naturals. Gavin Cross is going to start off the season there as well, so interested to see
Ooh,
that. Yep. Pitching got a lot of good names here. Mason Barnett, Eric Sarantola, Chandler Champlain, Tyson Guerrero, Noah Murdoch. A lot of guys to keep an eye on here. And I want to point this out because we haven't talked about the Storm Chasers at all yet. And your guy Walter Pennington absolutely dealt in the
Yeah,
opening series against the Iowa Cubs.
man.
It is He's
This
been
is the
amazing.
thing about sports that's just so great is you just somehow end up picking random guys that you're like, that's my guy, and then he succeeds, and then you're like, oh, that's so cool, that was my guy.
He's still my guy.
My friend.
So I want to wrap all this up by saying there's a lot of good baseball in the Royals organization going on right now. If you are an MLB.TV subscriber, I'm like 98% certain that you get them all for
Yep,
free.
that is correct. They
Um,
folded minor league baseball into the MLB package last year.
which I think that was a great move
I was
personally.
very fan friendly, which is what surprises me about it.
What? Something financially fan friendly? That's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Okay, now, honey, would you like to segue us to the Royals review reviews?
Royals reviews.
That wasn't.
It's
I mean,
time.
that is a kind of segue.
Can we rate that segue on a scale of 1 to 10,
Listen,
Jeremy?
it's not
I
out
rate
of
that
box
segue
form, but
as
it
a
works.
segue out of segues.
I like that. How very political of you, Jeremy.
The only segue I know is out of the box, so it's like so long.
Farewell to you, my friend.
I'm sorry, that's the only segue I know.
All right, honey, since you are hungry, why don't you give us your review for this evening? Give me
Cool.
1 second so I can get the mic over in front of you.
Actually, Morgan wants to do the review.
No, Morgan is not doing the review. She is a dog. Okay, she can't talk.
That's correction. Morgan is a horse.
A horse dog.
Horse dog, moo.
Bro, she.
Did you just
Why
did
does
the
it
horse
move?
dog just moo?
Yes,
I'm
if it's a
very
horse dog,
concerned.
I get to make any noise.
I don't understand how there's a dog that is literally like 4 feet tall. I just don't. Anyway, giant breeds of dogs. They're interesting. You know what else was more interesting? Dumb Money on Netflix, which is a dramatization of the GameStop story. So it. Ooh, wow. Follows the saga, thank you, of the YouTuber who got everyone to invest in GameStop and drove the stock up like crazy, crazy high. So it was really well done. Jake and I like little kind of cool movies like that. We're a little nerdy and we like money movies. We love The Big Short and Wolf of Wall Street, etc. So if you're into those kind of quirky comedies about really interesting things that actually happen, or the math and stuff behind it, it's a go in and check it out.
Ba-da-ba. Jeremy, on to you for the review.
All right, so I wasn't sure what I was going to review tonight, but your review gave me an idea. I'm going to review the YouTube channel Foldable Human. Foldable Human. He does documentaries about all kinds of stuff, mostly internet related. He's got one about the Dark Moon Fair problem that happened at the World of Warcraft convention a couple of years ago. He's got one about VR and crypto. He's got another one about crypto. But he's also got one about the GameStop situation, which I think you all should watch now that you've seen the one that you just referenced that I've already forgotten the name of because I'm so good at
Dumb
this.
Money.
Dumb Money.
Dumb Money. So go watch Foldable Humans GameStop video. He's also got one about flat earthers, which was really cool.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, he's got all kinds of great, very informative, very entertaining documentaries. That's where I watch my documentaries is on YouTube. So that's my recommendation for this week. Foldable Human YouTube channel.
I like it. Mine's also going to be very quick. I'm going to review a website called Front Office Sports. If you haven't heard of it, they really cover where business and sports kind of intersect and some of the more overarching themes of sports. So whether it be talking about, point of sale systems getting you back into baseball stadiums, or, how the NCAA failed women's March Madness this year. Things like that, not really getting in the weeds on the actual sports part, but if you want to learn more about the business side, the money side of sports, you have to go check out Front Office Sports. Because Jeremy, it is I really underestimated how much money, like not money, but how much of a business sports are until
Oh
like
yeah,
2 years ago. I really thought every owner out there will spend the money to go win, right?
Jacob.
Yeah, I was
Why would you
naive.
out yourself like that, Jacob?
I'm trying to show growth. I'm
Good
trying to admit my
Good for
growth.
you, Jacob. I'm sorry. That was uncalled of by me. Good for you. Way to grow. I'm proud of you.
Jeremy, I'm still a
Speaking of
little dumb.
women's NCAA,
Yes, what about it, hon?
did you know that until the 2022 season, women's NCAA was not allowed to use the March Madness branding?
I did not know that. It doesn't surprise me, unfortunately, but I did not know that.
Exactly. So that they had a big long piece about the whole measurements on the court in women's March Madness, like that all causing issues
Yeah.
and things like that. Front Office Sports has a big long article that actually referenced that, hun. So certainly go check out that article and that site in general. A lot of good information on there.
Really cool. I'll
Um,
have to do that.
I like it. I like it. All right, listen. First pitch just started. I want to go watch Cole Reagans and Corbin Burns, and I want to go
Yes.
watch the Kansas City Royals win their first series of 2024. So we're going to go ahead and get out of here, but you got to check out royalsreview.com for all your news and analysis on all things Kansas City Royals baseball. Please listen into the Royals recaps after every single game.
They're so
I try to.
good. They're really good, y'all. I was like, I don't know if this could possibly be good. So, but I'm like, I gotta listen because it's my buddy, it's Jacob, and I listen and I'm like, no, this is actually good.
I'm trying to listen. I'm trying to.
Why the tone of surprise?
I'm trying to make it better, Jeremy, by adding in callers, but I got to figure out the whole phone situation,
Good luck with that.
I know,
Phones,
right?
Phones are ancient technology.
Tubes, man, tubes.
So many tubes.
All right, we're falling off the rails here. I need to go get dinner. So does Honey. So everyone out there still listening, we really appreciate your support, y'all. I'm sorry I didn't read off the Q&A responses. I'm gonna have to have a big old episode just for that coming up. So everyone out there supporting us, we couldn't do it without you. And until next time, go Royals!